Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I have a great topic for you this beautiful Sunday. Do you suffer from decision fatigue? You might be thinking, well, what is that even? Literally, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a state that we become so overwhelmed because we have so many decisions that we have to make on a daily basis. And what's interesting about this is that the decisions don't have to be big decisions like what college I'm going to go to or where am I going to send my kids to school. It could just be multiple situations that our brain just becomes unwired because we have to make too many decisions in the course of a day. And that's what decision fatigue is. So, what are some symptoms that you may be experiencing decision fatigue? Well, I'll share three with you, and they're very common and easily to recognize. The first one is you become very irritable. Irritability is a huge sign that you might be experiencing decision fatigue, and it's irritableness because of no reason. Another way to detect if you're experiencing decision fatigue is you just constantly feel overwhelmed. Just overwhelmed for no apparent reason other than the fact that you have all these decisions to make on a daily basis and it's just too much. Another way or a sign that you may be experiencing decision fatigue is you have a really hard time or difficulty concentrating. And together, these three things that I just mentioned, irritability, feeling this sense of being overwhelmed, or just not being able to concentrate, could mean that you may be experiencing decision fatigue. Now, when I talk about decisions on a daily basis, I don't even think a normal person realizes how many decisions that you make from the moment that you open your eyes in the morning. Whether it's, should I take a few minutes and make my bed? Should I go? Should I shower, take a shower, or take a bath? What are we going to have for dinner? What am I going to wear to work? Am I going to wear pants or am I going to wear a dress? And it just keeps going. What am I going to have for lunch? What are we going to have for dinner? Where are we going on vacation? When am I picking up my kids? It's just all these decisions that you make in the course of a day is what overwhelms us. And it just makes us feel mentally exhausted. And when you're tired, we all know that when we're tired, we don't make the best decisions to begin with. And so, what are some things that we could do to kind of like mitigate or to help us if we're feeling that we're experiencing some kind of decision fatigue? Well, number one, you could limit your choices. For example, if you're trying to decide, what you're going to cook for dinner tonight, instead of opening up your fridge like I do and kind of taking an audit of everything in my freezer and everything that's in my fridge that's available, limit yourself to two. Are we going to have chicken or are we going to have tacos? And make your decision and move on. That will help. And you can use that very scenario for so many other things, in your life that you have to make decisions about. Something else that you could do to mitigate or kind of combat if you're feeling overwhelmed with decision fatigue is also to prioritize your tasks, right? So you have more decisions when you have more things on your plate to do. So rather than trying to do every single thing and get more overwhelmed, prioritize your tasks. So if it's really important every day that you do task A, then focus on the decisions related to task A. If it's really important to do A and B, focus on the decisions related to tasks A and B, and don't worry about C, D, E, F, G, A. You can't do it all. And that's what makes us feel overwhelmed when we're constantly trying to do it all and then nothing gets done well. So prioritizing your tasks is another way to mitigate or combat feeling like you're going through decision fatigue. Something else that helps is probably the hardest to accomplish, and I'm just speaking from personal experience, and that is take a break. Sometimes when we feel so overwhelmed, we just don't know when to step away or say, I can't do it anymore, and take a mental health break. I know for me personally, I have a lot on my plate, and a lot of the decisions that get made in my home are by me, and I just start to feel overwhelmed. And so a part of me taking a break was letting my husband know that the load is too heavy. Let you handle some of these things that you can handle, and then that way it'll be less pressure, or not as many decisions that I have to make if I can give some to him. If you're not in a position to give someone else some of the decisions to make, then you just have to take a total break from it, And there are some decisions that you can't get away from, like what you're going to wear today, or what you're going to feed your kids. There's some decisions that you do have to make, but if you take a break and then come back at it, I think you move with clarity, a clearer head, and then you make better decisions. I know when it comes to like, what are you going to wear? Something I started doing was on Sunday, I pick out my clothes for the week. That way, when I get up tomorrow morning, I already know what I'm going to wear. Decision out of the way makes life so much easier, and you can take that kind of concept and apply it to so many things in your life. You can choose what you're going to make for dinner in advance. You can pick out your kids' clothes for the week. They have those cute little cubbies with the days of the week on them. I think they are invaluable if you're a mom with little kids, and you can set out all their clothes for the whole entire week. Get that out of the way. It's not a decision that you have to make. And then that way, when it's time for some big decisions that you have to address and you have to make, you can do so, like I said, with some mental clarity, and then you'll make better decisions. And so I thought this topic was really very interesting because I felt like I was experiencing it. So I felt like if I was experiencing it, maybe you might be too. And so it's okay. There is nothing, wrong with you if you're feeling a little overwhelmed from all these decisions that you have to make. But just make sure that you understand that it is something that can wear on you if you let it go unchecked for a long period of time. So take care of you. Take a mental break when you need to take a mental break. Recognize it for what it is, and I think you'll start to feel better, and you'll feel less overwhelmed and less irritable. And when you're feeling overwhelmed and irritable, you're not the best person to be around, and so it definitely will improve relations. And so I just wanted to take a few minutes and share the thought about decision fatigue with you. I hope that maybe if you recognize some of the things that I discussed in this video, you will take it to heart and do some of the things that I also mentioned to mitigate or kind of get over having this decision fatigue. When your brain is overwhelmed with so many choices to make, you just start to unravel, and that's not a good place to be in. And so, like I said, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you notice that maybe someone else that you know is experiencing decision fatigue based on what I talked about, like and share this video with them. It's real short and right to the point, and maybe we can pass along some help, to our friends and family. If you haven't already, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. I'm still new and trying to build and kind of find my way. And so I hope that you will support me in that endeavor. I hope that you have a beautiful day.